A vaccine jointly developed by Pfizer and BioNTech has been found to be 90% effective in preventing COVID-19 infections in the ongoing Phase 3 late-stage trials. This is the most scientific advance in the battle against the virus so far. The analysis looked at the first 94 confirmed cases of COVID-19 among more than 43,000 volunteers who got either 2 doses of the vaccine or a placebo. Less than 10% of the infections were found in patients given this vaccine, according to preliminary findings. Protection in patients was achieved 7 days after the second of the 2 doses and 28 days after the first dose. In a statement, Pfizer chairman and CEO Albert Bourla said, and I quote, "The first set of results from our Phase 3 COVID-19 vaccine trial provides the initial evidence of our vaccine's ability to prevent COVID-19. We are a significant step closer to providing people around the world with a much-needed breakthrough to help bring an end to this global health crisis." The pharmaceutical giant now aims to seek emergency use authorization from the United States Food and Drug Administration. The Phase 3 trial of the Pfizer vaccine made with German partner BioNTech has enrolled over 43,000 participants since the 27th of July. The positive preliminary data means the US pharmaceutical giant and its German partner are on track to be the first with a vaccine against COVID. After signing advance deals with governments worldwide for hundreds of thousands of doses, this comes as COVID-19 infection rates across the world are soaring to record highs, with hospital intensive care units filling up fast and death tolls mounting around the world as well. Based on supply projections, the company said they expect to supply up to 50 million vaccine doses globally in 2020 itself, and up to 1.3 billion doses in 2021. However, a lot many more vaccine doses would be required if the world has to beat this pandemic. Now, joining us on this broadcast is virologist at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Professor Amos Panay, and he's joining us live from Jerusalem. Professor Panay, welcome to WION. Thank you so much for giving us your time. And this is great news, isn't it? The world had been waiting for such an announcement, and full credit to Pfizer for coming out and making this announcement, saying 90% effective against COVID. Now, Professor, like we just told our viewers, cases are still spiraling across the world, isn't it? Cases are still spiking. There are more hospitalizations. The death toll is spiking. Is a vaccine the only credible answer to COVID? No matter how many restrictions we put, no matter how many lockdowns we enforce, is a vaccine the only real answer to this pandemic?
Yeah, good morning, India from Israel. Yeah, in fact, the vaccine is the only answer, the only good answer against COVID-19. We don't have any credible drugs now. And we know that anyhow, vaccines are better than drugs against infectious diseases. So definitely this is a great news, perhaps the greatest news since last December when the pandemic has started in China. And now we can see the end of it. The results really shows us that it's possible, it's credible, that we will have a good protective vaccines before the end of 1921, and that many millions of people will get these vaccines. So we can see really the end of the pandemic now. It's within our efforts, within our capability, and it's astonishing how well this vaccine works. We scientists did not anticipate such a good vaccine. We thought that perhaps the vaccine, the first lines of vaccines, will be 50% effective, even 40% effective. And here we have credible results which shows us that the vaccine, at least the Pfizer vaccine, is 90% effective. I should say that even the influenza vaccine that we get, every winter is not 90% effective.
Right.
So for a first line, this is amazing results.
This is amazing results, Professor. But, you know, how much credit should be given to Pfizer and its German partner? Because if my memory serves me correct, the fastest the world has ever developed a vaccine was against MERS in 1960s. And Pfizer has come out with a vaccine against COVID, at least it's in the late stage of trials, within a few months. The world only came to know about the COVID-19 pandemic when it started in China in December last year and it impacted the world a few months later. So Pfizer has come out, or at least it's in the last stage trial, within months of the outbreak of this pandemic. So how much credit must be given to the scientists working on this potential vaccine?
I think that Pfizer scientists should be congratulated. They have done it very fast, and moreover, they have taken a very risky new method to prepare vaccines. Nobody has tried this type of vaccination before. You know, usually we vaccinate people with proteins derived of the virus. They have taken a different approach. They have taken an approach of injecting people with a gene of the virus. Not with the protein of the virus, but with the gene of the virus, injecting into the muscle such that the muscle will produce the protein, and the protein will elicit the immune system to prepare antibodies against the virus. So they have taken a very risky route and have succeeded in it. So it's fantastic. We should really congratulate them all. And other companies are racing behind them, and I guess in few weeks we will hear from Oxford and from Moderna and from other companies which are really on the way to finish their phase 3 studies. In India, there are also companies who are racing to develop the vaccine. In Israel, there is an institute which is racing on the same direction. So we will have more than 10 vaccines within the next few months.
Absolutely, sir. And you know, I just want you to, once again for our viewers, just stress on how effective this vaccine is. Pfizer claims it is 90% effective. So 9 out of 10 people who will be given this vaccine will not develop symptoms even if they are exposed to COVID-19. So it really goes a long way in halting the spread of this virus. Also, Pfizer and its German partners say they will produce about 50 million vaccine doses this year and about 1.3 billion next year. But the world will need a lot more vaccine doses, isn't it, because of the global population. If we have to stop this pandemic at a global stage, the challenge still remains on how to make this potential vaccine available first, initially to the first responders and our medical staff, and then to the public at large.
Yeah, eventually we'll need 8 million vaccine to vaccinate the entire world population. But there will be many companies very soon who will prepare vaccines. The problem will be that we don't know which vaccine will be better. So, you know, once we will have some 10 different vaccines, the next problem will be what type of vaccines to take. Which vaccine will give you a better antibodies, and for how long the antibodies will survive in the body. So there will be a lot of work to be done after we will have the first wave of vaccines. But this is for later times. Just now, we can be very happy with what we have, the first announcement. And I'm pretty sure that if the first vaccine works, other vaccines will work as well. This is a not very complicated virus to prepare a vaccine. It's not like...
Right, Professor Amos telling us all the details, and full credit, Professor, to the scientific community, to the scientists in Pfizer for their innovative manner in which they have come out with this potential vaccine. Because, you know, vaccine making process isn't easy. Brazil has recently halted the trial of a Chinese coronavirus vaccine over an adverse event involving a volunteer. Now, they have not exactly ruled the exact impact that the potential vaccine had on that volunteer, but usually vaccine trials are halted if a candidate develops fatal side effects like serious disability, hospitalization, birth defects, and other clinically scientific events as well. So setback for the Chinese vaccine manufacturer. But like Professor Amos Panay was telling us on WION, that this is a great news coming out of the Pfizer camp. The global drug maker has announced that its vaccine candidate, which is in final stage phase 3 trials, is showing 90% effectiveness in battling this coronavirus pandemic. So 9 out of 10 people will not show any symptoms even if they are exposed to COVID, and a vaccine is the only real answer against the pandemic. And remember, this vaccine, potential vaccine being developed by Pfizer, will be produced in record time. The Wuhan virus impacted the world only in December late last year before impacting the world a couple of months later. Before this, the fastest vaccine ever developed was against MERS in the United States of America in the 1960s. So this is a record time in which Pfizer may come out with a vaccine against COVID.